Hey, welcome back to North Pole Retro. Today we still have more from our overseas grab bag. So let's go ahead and get into this package and see what we got. All right, and if you can't tell by the controllers already or from the homepage of our website, if you've never been there, you should already know this is a Famicom. Here I have a regular NES. Always just liked the Famicom. They were compact. They were kind of cool. And again, just a really decent packing job on it. So just everything being really well wrapped down. And I'm actually definitely going to have to pick up some original Famicom games, or at least an adapter, so that way we get it adapted into the top. But the thing I do like is the little cartridge flap is there. The whole thing's actually not too dirty on the inside. And the one thing that was nice about these is these actually had an eject slider. Oh yeah, that old school squeal and squeak. You had your player 1 and player 2 controllers. There were a couple of games on the Famicom that used a mic, and the mic was built into the player 2 controller, and it even had a volume slide for the speaker that was built into it as well. These, I mean, it's a either brass or aluminum inlay that's on the top, so those are actually metal. I just know the controllers are hardwired into these ones, so they are very short. This probably won't become my primary way that I play the Nintendo, just because of some of the other controllers I have and I like to use, but I just thought this was super cool, interesting, and with their additional port on the front of, I do believe that was used for their light guns, and also additional controllers, because they did have a dog bone for the system as well that I do believe plugged into the front that used that connector. And this is very similar. See if I got one laying around. I do. That is a perfect fit for the connector on the end of a Neo Geo. So I think if I need some extension cables and I can actually get the player 1 to operate off of this, this may become my primary one, because I can probably build an adapter from this to a regular NES controller. The other thing I liked about their super compact style was just that the controllers slotted right into the side on the console. The only thing is that they were RF only, and they were on channel 1 or channel 2. They also did just have a pass-through for the TV or game when these were going out. So if you were playing and this was turned on, if it was over on game, it would go through, or you can pop it, switch it back to your TV. Still have the AC adapter, still have the RF on the other side. We will get this thing opened up in another video just to see more on the inside. I'm not going to modify these controller ports, but I do have one modification we will be doing to this console itself, and that is an RCA conversion, or composite video conversion. So stay tuned for that video on us getting this installed on there. I know somebody out there is probably going to yell at me because I'm going to end up drilling a hole in this, and I know there's ways to do it without drilling the hole, but I want the installation to be semi-permanent, and I also want to leave the RF switch. I don't want to pull any hardware out of here. I know there's some other ways to do it to where you can pass the cables through this out to the adapter, but I want everything to just kind of be in here and sit in one thing by itself. But the accompanying of this will probably end up being another retro bright project, because this is a little bit more yellowed than what my camera showed. I'm going to go ahead and get our second half of this opened up, and we have our accompanying disc system, which is one thing I'm actually kind of excited about. I have a couple of disc system games coming just because I want to try this out. I also have a FDS stick coming as well, just so that way we're not going to be chewing through the old games and that, and you actually technically don't even need this part for the FDS stick. But I just thought, as far as the way that this whole thing is going to mount, that I just like the way this looks as one big thing. It had its AC adapter, and it also has its spot for 6 C-size batteries. And this thing is already hefty in itself, so I can only imagine this with all of the batteries in it. Plus, when you have this whole thing sitting together, and you have the two parts and one sitting on top of the other, I mean, that just looks amazing, and that's going to look really good sitting up on the shelf. And I know somebody's saying out there, if you don't have all the parts, I do have the power adapters for both of these, the original ones for the disc system and that, but the most important piece out of everything for this entire thing was the RAM adapter. And these are what is actually the hefty price for the whole thing, and that slammed down into the top. This plugged into the adapter slot down on the disk system itself, and there you had it. So you actually, if you wanted to play a disk system game, you needed to take that piece in and out every time you did it, plus the flipping of the disc over from side A or one side to the other. But I mean, come on, this was essentially, you know, the Sega CD, the 32X of back in the day, but Nintendo did it, and honestly I think they did a little bit better job. Anyways, that was the original Famicom and Famicom disk system, everything on there. We're going to have a couple of modification videos, at least for the original Famicom, and when that FDS stick actually gets here, we'll be doing a review on that as well. We're going to have a couple of multi-cart reviews coming up because we have a bunch of those laying around. Haven't really talked about them too much, and what some of the options are for modifying your console and a way to get the games that you want on there, or at least the ones you already own, backed up and in a way that you can play them without actually doing damage to your cartridges themselves. But anyways, we are North Pole Retro. Check us out at northpoleretro.com. Like, subscribe, share, join our Patreon to help support the channel. Thanks for stopping in. Have a good night, and we'll see you in the next one.